Hey folks, I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff I've got going on, and then we're going to talk about bottling in, or doing carbonation in bottle. So this is the official super simple home brewing carbonation and bottle method. And yeah, I cut the crap out of myself shaving this morning. That's not a cold sore. And I'm trying out some new shaving stuff and some shaving soaps that we make. And it's a learning experience. Check that out. I just cut the crap out of myself. So let me get psyched up here. For those of you who don't know, I'm really into vaping these days because I'm a big hookah enthusiast, and this is like the portable vape. I'm vaping with the, I think that's the Nautilus Aspire. It's their sub-ohm, or maybe it's the Atlantis. It's their sub-ohm tank. And I've got my own juice in here, which we'll talk about in just a second. Love that. And I love that flavor, oh man. So this is our own special. I make this in my lab. I have a home lab now. I've been building out for the last couple of years. This is my own line of, I got a glare on the bottle there, it's called Cobalt Vaping. It's me and a business partner of mine went in, and we make our own custom, artisan level, custom blended juices. You won't find white grape, you won't find watermelon, we don't carry that stuff. We take those flavors and we make custom blended artisan flavors, and this is one of my very favorite. It's 47 Samurai is the name of the blend, and it's a custom blend of apricot. We have a really nice apricot, and a base that we use in a lot of our juices that's really floral and really delicate, has a lot of flavor, called Elvish Tea. It's our own custom special thing. So 47 Samurai is apricot and Elvish Tea. We make this in-house. It's just beautiful. So we sort of specialize right now in high-end custom fruit flavor blends. We go for sort of Allison Vapeland, or I love their stuff, or a lot of the Five Ponds. Some of their stuff's really awesome, some of it's not so much. But their level of quality at affordable prices. So yeah, these are under 20 bucks, man, and you get awesome quality for under 20 bucks. So that's what I'm vaping. Okay, so I'm gonna put that down. I do also want to introduce you guys a couple of folks. This is one of the main products that I started my lab for. If you don't know about this, you need to get you some and figure out what this is all about. This is Blue Rose Alchemy, BRA, Ormus. I have a whole clientele of folks that I make this stuff for and sell it to. It's been a private clientele for a long time, but I'm sort of going public with it. This is it's too long to talk about in the video, but to give you a quick summation, it's a precipitate from very high mineral, very special Dead Sea salt that I import, and I make this stuff in my lab, and it's wrapped in tin foil for a reason. It's sensitive to EM fields. This is an Alchemy product. So if you want to learn more about this and find out what it's about, I have a Blue Rose Alchemy channel that I'm going to be talking about this and some of my other products on. Go check that out. Go subscribe to that channel. It's actually linked in this channel. Go check that out. I've got free info videos. I'm going to teach you how to make this stuff, so you don't have to go through me. You can make your own. I talk about it on my website. I give you tons of info, and you can obviously order it. I have an auto ship. Once you start on this stuff and you see what it's all about, you want to stay on it. So I have an auto ship program, and we do some other metaphysical stuff, or metaphysical products, and natural soaps and stuff that are coming out in my main channel, or my main business, Blue Rose Alchemy. So that's not what we're going to talk about. I want to teach you guys, and I've been running this video over in my head for a while to figure out exactly how to teach this. This is a method that I've been using for years, and it works beautifully, right? A lot of people want to know how to, it's easy to carbonate beer, right? So sorry, I'm a little scattered, so let me get my crap together. Everybody knows how to carbonate beer in the bottle, right? That's a very low carbonation method. A lot of people have trouble carbonating wines and ciders and meads, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this. I'm going to say something, and for knowledgeable home brewers, they're going to go a little bit bananas when I say this. I don't use a hydrometer for this stuff. I almost never use a hydrometer, honestly, because I don't care what the alcohol content is. I know there's alcohol in it, but I don't need to brag about or even get into how much alcohol is in it. I know there's alcohol in it, so I don't use a hydrometer, which is traditionally very important in learning how to carbonate in bottle, but I'm going to show you some tricks. So what you're going to need to do this is a couple of these. This is a regular, I ripped the label off of it, I think it was originally Sprite, a regular 2-liter plastic bottle, or, and I prefer actually to this next alternative, 2-liter plastic bottle, or this is actually full. This is a bottle that I carbonated. This is my own personal caramel apple cider in a flip top bottle, and I love these Cobalt bottles. You can get these bottles for about $5 a pop, which seems expensive for a bottle, but it's designed to take pressure of carbonation. It looks fantastic, and for that $5, you can use it over and over and over and over again. The only thing you have to replace is this little, like, 5-cent gasket. So these bottles are a great investment, and you can carbonate in these easily. So let's talk about the fermentation process a little bit to give you the foundation of the theory. In primary fermentation, in the first stage of fermentation, you've got everything in your bucket. Almost all the alcohol that's going to be created in that batch is going to be created in the first 30 days in your primary fermentation. Something like 80 to 85 to 90% of the alcohol is going to be created in primary, right? So primary fermentation is aerobic. Secondary fermentation is anaerobic, which means you need exposure to air, you need headspace in primary, and in secondary, that's where all the really subtle stuff happens, and a lot of the flavors develop, and fermentation switches to anaerobic, or without oxygen, that method, or that mode of fermentation. So we're going to take advantage of and do a modified secondary fermentation. So you mix up your batch, you do your super simple thing for the first 30 days, you leave it up, you leave it alone. You then take the batch and you move it to one of these. So when you move it to one of these, you can't just stand there and stare at me. Later, my roommate's leaving, making me feel all awkward because I'm recording a video.
Hey, that happened twice today.
Yeah. So you take the stuff from your primary fermentation that's still alive. It's still fermenting, right? Your cider is still going. And you put it in this. So what's going to happen is that living organism, that yeast that's still alive in your batch, is going to continue to do its thing in here. So all of that, this is sealed, when you close it, all of that CO2 that would be off-gassed through the condom or the rubber glove in the super simple method is going to be in this pressure-safe container. These containers are specifically, they're made for carbonated beverages. They're made with a little sort of safety mechanism built into it so that they can take that pressure. These will get really, really hard, and they will take tons of pressure. So you move your batch in here, it continues to ferment. You want to put some potassium sorbate in it. Potassium sorbate it's a home brewing chemical. You don't have to do this, but I really recommend it if you're going to use this method. It inhibits fermentation from getting any more intense. What it is it's like a shellac that goes over the yeast cells and keeps the yeast cell from dividing anymore. So your fermentation will never get any more intense than what it is right at that juncture. So potassium sorbate, per directions on the sorbate, that always comes when you buy it. And I've got a vendor that I recommend that I have a relationship with It'll be in the show notes to be able to get that stuff. It's really cheap. You mix that up with this, and if you're like completely out of sugar, you can throw, like in this, I would throw like a tablespoon of sugar, maybe. If you want a little fermentation, maybe throw a teaspoon, or a little carbonation, throw a teaspoon. If you want a lot, throw a tablespoon. You get more of a gauge on what you need, your carbonation level, if you use the hydrometer, but screw that. So you throw it in here, and this is going to get hard, and then let's talk about the end of this bottle. So this is part of the reason why I use 2 liters. See these feet and the divots between these feet, right? If you get too much pressure, these act like a warning valve. These will blow out and extend, and they will literally round, instead of having these feet, they'll round the bottom of the 2-liter container. So if that happens and it blows out the bottom of your 2-liter, you go to the top of the 2-liter and you crack it open, and you slowly vent some of that excess pressure, and then you crack it back down and you set it back down. So you bought yourself some insurance, some time, so that your batch can continue to go. So I typically leave batches in a 2-liter, because I also use this for my bulk storage method. It takes 11 2-liters for a 6-gallon batch. I leave them in the container for at least 15 days to do the fermentation level. I really like to leave them in there for 30 to 45 days to do some bottle conditioning. You'll get a lot more flavor if you wait the 30 to 45 days. So, and you just want to watch the bottom and see if you've got too much, if you had too much sugar in your batch when you loaded it, and it's going to make too much carbonation. Watch these feet. If they blow out, just crack open and do some preventative maintenance and let that stuff, some carbonation, CO2 out. So you can put them directly in these bottles because they're designed to take the pressure, and you don't get a warning gauge, but this is really thick glass and it's going to take the pressure. I've never ever had one of these blow up, ever. So let's continue the scenario. You have your really nice carbonated beverage in this container now, your home brew, and you don't want to keep it in this container. You want to put it in a nice bottle and put some labels on it and give it away to friends for gifts or whatever. How do you do that? Because if you open this up, you're going to like let all the carbonation out. Here's one of the dynamics of carbonation that you got to understand, that you got to learn. When liquid is really hot, it doesn't hold on to carbonation. CO2 will not easily go into solution in a hot liquid. The opposite of that is true if you have a cold liquid. If that liquid is really cold, it holds on to that carbonation, and it's very easy to put more carbonation into a cold liquid. So you buy some insurance. If you want to move your carbonated beverage from this to another container that looks nice, at that point you get this really, really cold. I would stick it in the fridge overnight, a really cold fridge. Better yet, stick it in the freezer for a couple of hours. Do not let it freeze solid, because it'll blow this up just from the water expanding. Get it really cold, and as soon as this is really cold, you can open it up and you can just literally pour this into your really nice container, your wine bottle or your cider bottle, or I even pour it into 6-pack bottles all the time. Cap them or cork them, or whatever you're going to do with that particular bottle, and slap a label on it, and you're good to go, man. But I leave them in this because for stuff we drink around the house, and if I have a party or people over or whatever, and I'm not trying to impress them with a cool bottle, I just leave it in this because it's a 2-liter. A 2-liter of cider, and just leave it in the fridge. It's more convenient, right? So, but you use this to carbonate your stuff. You use this instead of a regular wine bottle because this is designed to take the pressure, right? Just like one of these is designed to take the pressure, right? And by the way, that label design is really beautiful, is it not? I know there's a glare, but caramel apple cider, that's my own design. I'm going to do a video on my labeling process because I've got a lot of that sorted out. These are just standard Avery labels that I've done, and I do a lot of graphic design. an Adobe Illustrator artwork on, and printed it out, and then I have a special sealer that I seal the ink on with, so it won't rub off very easily. Makes for very high-end professional labels, very cheap. So I'm shaking this around, and it's here. It's starting to vent some of that stuff because this is really carbonated. So that's how you do it. So to recap, put everything in the primary for 30, 45 days, put some potassium sorbate in it, move it to one of these, and leave it for another 30, 45 days. Be patient. And then you can just leave it in there. When I do batches and I bottle them, I just put masking tape on it and I write whatever the batch was and the production date, so I know when it was made and how old it is. And this is what I keep. This is my bulk storage for stuff. And you could do that with ciders and meads and fruit wines and regular wine and whatever that you want carbonated. I've been using this method for years and it really works. So yeah, I think that's it. And again, if anybody wants to check out our vaping stuff, I'm eventually going to put up a Cobalt Vaping channel and show you guys how to do some mixing stuff, but I don't have it set up yet. CobaltVaping.com is where we've got all the flavors, and you could, this is live right now, you can order it right now. And Ormus, if you guys want to learn what this is all about, and you definitely want to learn what it's about, BlueRoseAlchemy.com. Tons of information up on this stuff. And go subscribe to Blue Rose Alchemy's channel. I'm going to be talking about this stuff and how to make it and a bunch of other stuff. We're going to do soap making and some other natural stuff. And that's it. Sorry for rambling for 17 minutes, but I hope you learned something. Later.